In this slide you can see the camels are divided or classified under the class mammals, mammalia. Then the order of artidacular, which means two-hooved or two digits, as in two claws. And then you've got the three suborders, the suiformes, which are the pigs or the swines. You've got the suborder of the ruminants, which are the cattle, sheep, goat, water buffalo, etc. And then you've got the camelids, the tylopoda, which are themselves divided into the Old World camelids and the New World camelids. The Old World camelids are the camel dromedarius, Camelus dromedarius, which is the dromedary camel, the one-hump camel you will find in this region. You've got then the Camelus bactrianus, the Bactrian camel, which is a two-hump camel. And then you've got the New World camelids, the llamas, alpacas, guanaco, and vicuña. The Old World camelids, of which there are about 20 million, as I said, are divided into the dromedary camel, the one-hump camel, and that you will find in Africa, North Africa, Eastern Africa, and of course in this part, the Arabian Peninsula, and in Asia. The Bactrian camel, the two-hump camel, is found mainly in Russia, so Mongolia, Central China, and Eastern Asia. The New World camelids are only found in South America, which are about 7 to 8 million, of which the llama and the alpaca are the tame animals, the vicuña and the guanaco are wild animals. Interesting to note that there are no wild dromedary, wild one-hump camels in the world anymore. If they are wild, they've been reintroduced into the wild, they're feral. There are small pockets of isolated wild Bactrian two-hump camels in outer Mongolia. Here you see the distribution of the one-hump and the two-hump camels. The one-hump, as I said, is in Africa, Northern Africa, Eastern Africa, this part of the world, Arabia, parts of Iran and Western India, while the two-hump camel, the Bactrian camel, is mainly in Eastern Central Asia, with parts of overlapping in Northern Iran and Uzbekistan. You see also a few introduced camels with the black spots. Of course, they are in Australia and Southern Africa, parts of Europe, North and South America. Here's a picture of the two-hump camels in Asia. This picture is actually quite interesting. You will see His Highness, the ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, actually taking part in the post-mortem and necropsy of a prized camel of his which died at a race in the late 1980s. He's taking part himself. His Highness has been very instrumental in everything around the research of camels in the region, but worldwide. He's always been a very keen sponsor of all matters around the camel. He's done the research and the racing diseases and products. Here you see him again a few years back. You will find, especially in Dubai, on this part of the world, a lot of reference to the camels, stylized quite often. Here you see them in front of the Royal Mirage, in Dubai, in gold. Then this is the caravan you see, or used to be able to see in front of the Jumeirah Beach Hotel. These were placed all around the city of Dubai a couple of years ago. Companies could sponsor them, artists stylized, drew on them, and they were then displayed in a caravan across from the Jumeirah Beach Hotel. The year after that you could see the horse all around Dubai, and then last year I think it was the falcon. So as I said, these three animals play a very important part in this region, in the heritage of this region. The camel, and if I'm referring to the camel now, I'm actually only talking now about the dromedary camel, the one-hump camel. The camel here, especially in the UAE, is a very multi-purpose animal. It not only provides milk and meat, which I will come to a bit later, it is also, of course, formerly the ship of the desert, the transporter before the automobile was invented, and especially in the UAE, it is a racing animal. It's a multi-million, if not multi-billion-dollar industry in the whole of the Arabian Peninsula. There are huge races taking place in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman, and here you see a purpose-built swimming pool for the camel to be able to train Camels actually, like most of the mammals, is a very good swimmer. So one length back and forth of this pool is equivalent to one race of 12 or 13 kilometers. Here you see it swimming. It's also used as a house animal, as a pet. That's me just a few years ago on the back of a camel, on a special Australian camel saddle. The animal lately has come back into the media for a special reason. It's the beauty of the camel. There was a beauty contest just recently, last month, in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, in the town of Medinat Zayed. It took place for 2 weeks, and prices were reached of $2.7 million per camel. So it's a highly lucrative industry. The camel itself is also very highly adapted, of course, for this arid climate we live in here in the United Arab Emirates and the rest of the Arabian Peninsula and Northern Africa. You see here the camel has 2 layers of eyebrows, and you can see in the front of the eye it's a bit moist, so it's always crying because it's trying to get rid of the sand in the ear. But if there's a huge sandstorm, it actually has a special cover membrane, special eye membrane, which you can close so no sand actually touches the eye. Then, of course, it reuses every single drop of water and can go without water for at least 15 days. But the camel brings also danger. This is a Sheikh Zayed road about 15 years ago. I'm sure people who've been here many years will recognize it. Nowadays, of course, it's very different. This is actually the car of my father. He was coming back from work, and he hit a camel straight on the fast lane. Naturally, the camel is a very tall animal, so when you're going and hitting it with a car, you knock away its legs, and it falls and smashes onto the car, often crushing the passenger unless you have a sturdy four-wheel drive. In this instant, the camel somersaulted over the back of the car with the roof, died, of course. Thank God my dad was all right as well. Camel milk, or as a lot of people say, or my dad says, the white gold of the desert. Since 3,000 years, camels have been an integral part of the life of the inhabitants of the Arabian Peninsula and North and East Africa. They are true life supporters in the grand ships of the desert. The milk of the camel, be it dromedary, the one-hump camel, or the two-hump camel, the Bactrian, is milked in most camel herding communities. Therefore, there's a huge demand for camel milk worldwide, as communities have not only been brought up with the product, but also have been getting familiar with the great benefits of camel milk. Many have migrated to places where there's no camel milk. I see the chef just passing by. This is actually samples of the camel milk, plain camel milk you'll be able to try. We've bought from our camel farm. I would love to hear your opinion, especially as chefs. You have a special taste buds, of course, and well developed, so I really would like to hear your opinions on camel milk. An important aspect of our production here will thus be the export of camel milk products worldwide. Therefore, I've been involved with the UAE Federal Ministry of Environment and Water, formerly Ministry of Agriculture, to apply for the important permission to import camel milk and camel milk products to the European Union. Apart from camel milk and camel milk, apart from fulfilling the legal requirements, there are 2 main obstacles in this import permit to the European Union. One is the verification of different pasteurization indicators, and the other is a foot and mouth disease. The camel is not a carrier of the FMD virus, the foot and mouth disease, and therefore they do not transmit the virus to other animals, like cows, sheep, and goats. These research results are still being verified by the European Union. Of course, it will also take a few more years at research as a Central Veterinary Research Laboratory, but also other worldwide institutions to complement and give further scientific evidence of all the medicinal properties of the camel milk. Camels can be milked in several ways. One is per hand, as you can see here, with a simple bucket, where the calf is actually wanting its share of the white gold. Of course, this form of milking is the least hygienic. Then you have the simple